What is up, guys? Kevincage back with another XRP update. Like and subscribe if you want daily crypto news, and let's get right into it. Hope you enjoyed today's Ripple rant. We're going to do things a bit differently and go over the XRP price chart, as well as two alts that are part of my long-term holdings that have been doing exceedingly well. And then, if we have time, some big news regarding Tesla as well as Tether. So first things first, just to cover high level for Tesla, and I hope you enjoy this video. We will be showing some price targets for XRP as well as an additional surprise in this, so be sure to like and sub. Tesla, guys, even per Bloomberg, has invested $1.5 billion with a B into Bitcoin. Now, I know you guys know my thoughts on Bitcoin with proof of work does not work, but overall, I do love Bitcoin. I love the attention that it has brought to this space. As you know, maybe I'm just salty because I sold my Bitcoin like a couple months ago, but overall, this publicity is going to be great. I know the average Joe, the typical retail investor, still thinks, and they buy the narrative and listen to the news, they think that cryptocurrency, these digital assets, are forever just going to be invisible internet money that are 100% speculative or speculation based. That could not be further from the truth. In the months ahead, in the years ahead, as utility starts driving these markets, as applications begin leveraging DeFi and any type of network with DLT, the prices of these assets are right now look like a drop in the bucket. There's no contesting that whatsoever. We understand what happens, even per XRP's tokenomics. Yes, I know the supply is large, but if you go into the order books, even looking at those examples on Bitstamp years ago, and talking about consistent prices, going and pushing up the order book price, yes, right now, there's not tons of liquidity, so slippage could occur. But over time, as we've heard from the real-time or head of real-time payments at ACI Worldwide, talking about Ripple being one of the main settlement mechanisms in the future, meaning Ripple the company, RippleNet, and specifically ODL, on-demand liquidity, which uses XRP as that medium of exchange. So if you guys have been watching this video or this channel for a few years, you understand my price targets for XRP. The conservative people, yes, $10 to $15, well within reach. I think that is entirely logical, but I absolutely do believe, without a sliver of a doubt, 3 to 4 digits at the very least for XRP in the future. And I know that is known. I know talking about price is very taboo because people don't like it when you talk about XRP price, but that is just my belief. And yes, I don't expect people to agree with me by any means in terms of time frames or, targets for that matter. And that's what makes this market fun. If we all agreed on every single price and every single asset, there would be no opportunity. So I try to be contrarian. I know we're all, attempting to be. There's nobody's perfect and we're all hypocrites to a certain degree. But I enjoy having different opinions than others. And yes, with TA, of course, we can have some similar targets. Nobody's copying each other. It's basic support and resistance. It's basic fib extensions. It's just kind of basic logic and trends that we can watch. So remember, history does not always have to repeat, but it often does rhyme. So even with this XRP and the US dollar right here on the 1 week time frame with Poloniex, I chose this exchange because it has one of the longest price feeds of historical data. So we can see XRP price action in 2014. So a quick reminder, remember, we can go back from here, even the bottom of the wick, all the way up to the massive bull run when we went to like $3 plus. That's 70,000 plus. Now keep in mind, the highest exchange, XRP did hit $3.84, nearly $4 before regulatory clarity, before Bitcoin is where it's at now, before there were so many barriers to entry. We had way less exchange listings. Now we're in the hundreds of exchanges listed. We have a lot more access. We know that there's about 2 million people, give or take, or 2 million XRP wallets. Now, a lot of people have several wallets. If you have 12 exchanges and you've bought XRP on each of those, there's a reserve amount of XRP that gets stuck there, as well as those are 12 activations for one person. So I don't believe there's really 2 million people holding XRP. I believe it's way less. And when more come, multiplier effects will take effect. So one of the main reasons I love using Poloniex is because it has the most historical data. Of course, this is a great example on the logarithmic scale, so you can kind of accurately see all of this. You can draw trend lines, you can do, an ascending parallel channel tool. And I mean, even just from this wick to here and just using this as support, you can do the same thing. Instead of drawing from up to here, that would be a very bullish case. We're just going to keep it conservative and just kind of play with this. And let's go something like that. So we kind of are using this as support. So right there, and then that as well. So this is just an example of an ascending parallel channel sloppily drawn. And notice, yes, we can break out of these channels and go far above it and then come back in it, consolidate, and then blast off again far beyond it. This is not just XRP. XRP is not an exception to this. We've seen ADA do it. I'm not talking about 300% returns. I'm talking about orders of magnitudes higher than this. The speculative market will always be here, but utility is going to drive this market, and it will get crazy. If you have not already seen, some of these assets, at least the micro caps and DeFi, have been doing 10x's left and right. Now, the idea is to get bigger amounts of money in those assets before they do that. And of course, when I stick with huge amounts of money or big bags, I'm not throwing, 50 grand into some DeFi asset that I don't know that it's a liquid. I'm sticking with my big bags into highly liquid assets in the top 50, top 100 projects, maybe top 200, if I can read the chart very, very well. All right. This is one example. We've seen ADA, we've seen QNT, HBAR, VeChain, a variety of assets, XLM, whatever asset you can honestly look, you can see that we've had this channel. They break out of the channel, whether it's up or low, and then come back into it. So this is a very common occurrence. And then before showing you some short-term targets for XRP potentially, I would just want to do a fib extension briefly. And I know I do this a lot. I know many people do, because it is largely accurate over time. The Fibonacci ratio exists in all things, specifically patterns on the macro. Now, if I haven't said this already, yeah, using fibs on the 30-minute and 4-hour is more similar to gambling unless you have additional confluences to validate your price targets. Long term, I do believe that XRP hits this, so that is absolutely insane. And it makes you realize, even with a $10 XRP, it doesn't take that much to make $1 million. Now, of course, yes, I believe in 3 or 4 digits, and this is just one example. So, fibs, swing high, swing low. We can go to that recent low, and just to pull it out, we can notice that this is going to be different on each exchange. But for the 4.23 extension, even if you went all the way up to that wick, let me just get a little higher, right? Closer to the 15 range. Now, notice on some exchanges, this 4.236, that's always a tongue twister for me, can be $10. On this exchange for Poloniex, it is actually $15 as that target. And yes, we're seeing assets on the weekly blasting to these levels, at least surpassing even their 2018 prices as well. So this is well within the realm of possibility in the future, and I wanted to point that out. Now, in terms of short-term targets, and we're going to get rid of this little channel here as well. And remember, I just want to emphasize, assets can break trend lines. They can come out of the channel and come back in at a later date. So it does not, essentially break anything per se, right? It could break certain trends to an extent. So before showing you some short-term targets for XRP as well as 2 other alt charts that I really want to show you, I want to remind you guys, especially if you're new, that I have a few strategies that help me. They may not be a right fit for you, but I encourage you to find something that is a good fit for you and your personal financial situation in terms of, how long you're willing to wait and your personal preferences. So as you know, I have my long-term holdings of crypto, a variety of assets. Honestly, I really need to rebalance it. It is getting messy. But some bags I consider to be large, others may be pretty small, and I lock them away in cold storage in my wallet for the years ahead. And I impatiently wait, and I do watch, the portfolio, kind of like everybody checking CoinMarketCap or looking at their Blockfolio at balance, things of this nature, impatiently waiting. I get it. But in doing that, I never want to gamble my long-term holdings. If, we're sure that XRP maybe was going to close that other gap we found at 15 cents, I'm not going to sell 100% of my holdings and try to, wait for the, weeks ahead or months ahead to buy that dip. That is just too risky for me. I've seen too much in this market. Yes, gaps may close 9 out of 10 times even in the stock market, but I cannot risk that. So I didn't come this far to come this far, and I do not advocate risking your long-term holdings or anything you're willing to lose, because typically you may end up with less than you started from, or FOMO and act emotional, because once you're in that state, you're in a dangerous point of, or psychologically speaking and mentally. So it's dangerous. I've been there. I've done that. I'm speaking from personal experience. So please, if you're new, please be safe and only invest and only trade what you are willing to lose, or at least, because don't be like someone with Doge paying their rent check and, putting in $1,000 or $2,000 and expecting to make $1 million from that. And then when you lose it all, you're upset. You have to understand the upside and the downside of every investment. So what I do to balance it, and I'm not perfect by any means, is I have my short-term trading bag, which is typically smaller than my long-term holdings. And what I do is I will scalp trade. I will take advantage of other swings or intra-weekly, intraday swings for the market and accumulate, whether it's more US dollar, more XRP. And if I do get profit, I can buy more crypto and add to my long-term holdings, or just increase my trading bag. And that trading bag will now allow me to get more bang for my buck and just essentially become more and more powerful. starting off getting, 20% return on 10K. Yeah, that's awesome. That's $2,000 profit. But once you're in the $100,000 trading bag, 20% moves are $20,000 in a day. So things are very possible. Just want to remind people to find something that fits their personal strategy. All right. So just, I'm not pulling this out of thin air with the fibs. We can go to a lower target. We can go to, this level of April 18. We can see that we came up right to the, 618, 702, 786, came back down, came back up. Just kind of looking and, looking at these top extensions as well. Came here to September 2018 levels. We can see that it was kind of, came right back up and tapped. So typically we do have a high chance now of blasting through the roof if this does occur. Notice targets 1618 is $1.19. Up here is almost $3. So entirely possible, guys. I just want to remind you, yes, I'm aware that the SEC allegations are crazy. I would be so bullish if we had all our liquidity providers online. There was no trading halts for XRP. Then I'd be screaming, $20, $30. Right now, I'm just trying to be conservative. I'm a work in progress, trying to lead by example, just like everybody. So we can see that, and we can also go to these other levels and kind of just play with this. We can go to the June 2019 high, and notice we did tap the 1618 at 82 cents. So would we blast up to that $2 even mark per Poloniex? That would be absolutely awesome. So keep that in mind, and we're just kind of looking at this, getting a better idea. And then per this extension coming up, and then the 4.236, the tongue twister, is $1.20. Now I'm going to get rid of these extensions. Now these Fibonacci extensions, I don't actually use all the time. I use a lot of other things, per stochastic, MACD, RSI, and then also Fibonacci pivots are what I usually use, as well as a lot of moving averages and EMAs. I don't want to bore you guys with the details. My screen will look like a rainbow. Okay, so I've removed the Fibonacci retracement, and I want to show you the good stuff now. We're going to turn on the 9 and 21 EMA, the exponential moving averages, and watching these positions on the weekly. Now I'm going to show you two other alts, and we're going to compare them, and I just want you to get a better understanding of what happens when we get a golden cross, or essentially even these assets start turning up with the 9 and the 21 EMA. So there is a potential for a very, very bullish move here. Of course, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to the SEC allegations. Maybe the exact opposite happens, but I do want to entertain this. Then we're going to turn on the Fibonacci pivots. Funny enough, the R3 pivot typically targets that a lot of these assets are blasting right through or actually hitting evenly on the dot. I encourage you to go to TradingView, scroll through these assets, and watch any asset that is blasted up. They're sitting at the R3 or are beyond it now on the weekly basis. Entirely possible. When it blasts through this R3 of potentially $1.12, what does it do? It starts going to the next one until the next weekly R3 is drawn over here to provide the next targets. When we are sitting at this P point, we typically either pump or dump. Yeah, up or down. Who would have guessed? So they either go right to that R3, R2, or go to S1. Now, obviously, S1 is pretty crazy. We do know that it is at the 10-cent level. And as we know, we've never retested some of those levels in early 2017. We came down, but we didn't. I mean, we tested all these levels and closed all those gaps. But per se, we have never tested these levels. So a very bearish scenario would be this. And I know JC Hodler, Mr. Level Up, they've been preaching this. They've been showing this possibility for a very, very long time. And I think it's important to be informed with this. Now, could we go to the moon without that? Yeah, absolutely. But I am prepared for the worst as well. So I'm just keeping sideline cash for anything. Because during times like this, if Tether imploded or Bitcoin pulled back and closed some of those CME gaps as well, anything can happen. It'll drag this market down. And of course, after that, it may not be that short-lived, but I still want to entertain that perspective, even if it does make you upset. Right here, pivot, R3, start drawing to the next R3, whether it's a golden cross or they just start turning up. I just want you to look at other alts that do this. So we're going to pull up an example now. We'll pull up this. We're going to do Kava as well as my baby Comp. And Comp just absolutely exploded. So we're going to do this one. I think, yep, I already drew fibs. Perfect. So we're going to get rid of these pivots so you can see a bit better. And keep in mind, Comp, just so you know, this is on January 3rd. I posted Comp. This is a 23-hour time frame. Hopefully you like my rainbow of moving averages as well. And we can see, I called this painting bullish AF, and obviously it was. This is at about between the $150 and $160 level, and it was looking great, and I saw a bunch of indicators. This is obviously on Patreon for my supporters and trade, or the Cage's trade members, but I wanted to share this. And then what happened? Right here, January 13th, 10 days later, did a nice 30 to 40% pump. I should probably update it since it's gone up several 100% now, but just to give you an example. So we're going to go to the daily and just show you where this little sucker was. Right there when I posted on January 3rd. So I actually bought higher. I bought it like 158 when I posted it. We got a pullback because I'm an idiot and I should have just waited, but I, FOMO just like anybody, but I still had my price target. So what did I do? I just held. Notice, came back up, and then this was January 3rd when I posted bullish because I saw that trend and it was coming. I had fibbed, I had everything set up. And what happened since then? We have gone quite high. And I know comp, I've studied it, any asset, I've done a lot of research. You can see even like 250%, 200% plus from these levels. I do not just attack alts with big amounts of money unless I fully understand their fundamentals and am familiar with them. I understand comp. It has sufficient liquidity. It is, what, a top 30 project now? It almost hits, 600. I believe it absolutely can per the extensions as well that we've drawn. And if we go to the weekly, we can absolutely see, let's turn the pivots on. Oh my gosh, look at that. So I'm just going to exit out of this real quick. What happened, guys? R3. Right there, wick to R3. Now other assets like Populous, which I'm an idiot because I sold out early and I'm just really jealous now and salty. We are sitting around that R3 for weeks, just consolidating after going up like hundreds of percent. Where, it's gone up insane. PPT is the ticker, just one example. But now look right here, and this doesn't have to rhyme for every asset, but this is an example of a golden cross of the 9 and 21 EMA on the weekly. This one just went parabolic. Now if you look carefully, we can do Kava. And we're going to play the same little game here. Turn the pivots on, and I'll get the little paint tool. And if we look carefully, this whole move right here does look similar to this whole move, correct? And what happened? We had that golden cross of the 9 cutting through the 21. Same concept. And what happened? Parabolic all the way to the R3. What happened from here? We're residing on the S1 as well, around these levels. Same with this one, give or take. Keep in mind, comp didn't have as much historical data per the exchanges like Gemini, Coinbase, and all of those. And it's also available on Kraken, tons of liquidity, so it is a stable asset, just like Kava. So, comp was getting in at the 150 levels. Kava, for anybody, I've heard David Schwartz's commentary of Ripple talk about Kava. We know the Atom integrations. I've done some videos on Kava. I've been a long time buyer of Kava and this asset for a long time. I know it's available on Bitrue as well. Links are in the video description, but I love Kava and what it is doing. And these are both two well-established DeFi projects. I'm looking at other micro-cap DeFi assets that will do, 1,000% returns, and I'm very excited because if one hits, you're talking millions of dollars. So, right here, we can see that it's very similar, pushes up beyond the R3, then consolidates, of course, and now it's starting to do it again, and we can see another golden cross. So the question is, will Kava push to R3? Entirely possible. Now, of course, a lot of these assets are doing this, and we have to keep a close eye on them. You can look at Atom, Kyber, a few of these, but I just wanted to point that out. So this is not unusual for big action to happen. Now, this one, notice it went parabolic. Now, there are other examples where a golden cross, it lags for, a month, and then it shoots. But overall, these targets are the same. So the thing is, the people that are patient, mature, can actually hold an asset for, 8 weeks, 4 weeks without freaking out and FOMOing, they're going to win. Those that are going to be chasing, and if they buy an asset, it goes down 10%, and then another asset goes up 40%, and they buy that asset, those people are going to lose their initial investment over time because they're basing it off of emotion. You have to wait. Nobody can perfectly and consistently buy the bottom and sell the top. All you can do is gauge it and look at a variety of other targets. I use a bunch of more indicators. I'm not going to bore you with all those details. But overall, and let me just, let me show you another thing really quick. Make sure my indicator's there. I'm going to turn off the pivots. And what we're looking at too is, I just utilize these and kind of like watching how these move. When you have the stochastics start running sideways, you can definitely get some bullish action. Obviously you've seen this, so it's been running sideways, it's been pumping. Same concept applies. Now I'm watching Kava just so you guys are curious. I'm not telling you to buy or, get into it. I do like David Schwartz's commentary about the Cosmos platform, and I believe I thought he talked about Kava. Keep in mind, I was in Kava at 88 cents or like 80, 90 cents. Definitely less than $1. All my smart friends, they beat me to it. They were telling me to buy it down here. I didn't. They told me to buy here. I didn't. I started getting it around, the 130 levels, and then got a little pump. And then I missed this next pump, and now I'm back in a little bit of Kava as well, just sharing. And I have my long-term holdings, but wanted to see how this would go. And we can see the RSI starting to peak up. If it can blast through, we can definitely get another push per even the moving averages. You can see the MACD. I didn't even fix this. This is sloppy. Nonetheless, MACD is running up. All of this is in position that it could pump. It would not surprise me whatsoever in the weeks ahead. Unfortunately, most people are not willing to hold an asset for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks for these types of returns. And I just don't comprehend it. I know a lot of people are making money left and right. Like one of my buddies in Cage's Trades, he literally hit me up and he's like, I could literally buy a Lamborghini right now. And I'm telling him not to. I'm telling him, wait, keep cash on the side, keep accumulating, because this is just the beginning of this market. So I'm beyond excited. And I'm really excited for a few alts as well to take off. And I think, at the end of the day, guys, as long as you have exposure, be happy. It's going to work out. Holding XRP, in my opinion, I'm right there with you. That's one of my biggest bags. It is not fun watching this, but I'm excited to finally get, or at least hope to get, clarity, a settlement. Some people say settlement will not happen for years. That does not, in my view, prevent XRP from succeeding. We know the volumes, we know the partners are, 90% are outside of the US. So I'm very excited for what's to come. I encourage you guys to look at a bunch of other assets that are doing this. Some have already broken this next point of, resistance and are just skyrocketing, Uniswap. I don't even want to go over those examples. They make me sick to my stomach just because I missed so many of them. Aave, formerly like Lend, all these assets just absolutely mooning. So been keeping a close eye on all of them. A lot of them are pumping left and right. Tel was another example. Let me see if I have anything for Tel. And I did see, so XRP Euphoria community member, great guy in the XRP community, if you guys know him, he DM'd me and was kind of asking me about Tel, I believe. And we were kind of going over it, and it was at like 1 cent. Yeah, I did some drawings, cool. So we were going over it. And I did, have some Tel and everything. We can see just blasting right through it. I saw 360 Trader talking about it. And this is an example, guys, of this bottoming, just like Mr. Level Up's been telling people. And I believe he is right. Now, timing it is tricky. But this cup is forming, and then we blast up. And look, now my analysis, weekly golden cross with the 9 and 21 EMA. So you kind of get these cups, this final cup to blast off. Tel is an interesting project. They already have clarity by Singapore, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the central banks. Like, I'm not just looking at charts and buying garbage coins. I'm at least ensuring that there is some version of clarity, or at the very least liquidity, so I can get in and out of the asset, because I'm here to make money. So keep that in mind. Don't be married to any investment. I know I'm going to get so many snarky comments that I'm married to XRP, but personally, guys, I have just seen too much in this asset class. I'm going to continue covering XRP because, to me, it is the most exciting, longest standing, and most superior technology that has network effects for its specific use case to solve not only remittances, but lending, payments, and completely flip the correspondent banking model on its head. So overall, yes, XRP, bullish case. Can we get that push to the 80 cent, $1? I freaking hope so. I want nothing more than that. I'm so sick of waiting. I cannot believe we are still under $1 in 2021, but we are seeing all the good things, fundamentally speaking, of ODL and consistent year-over-year growth. So if you guys want to sell, that is completely fine. I will buy your cheaper XRP. I'm happy to do so. But worst case, some FUD comes, what, do we close the gap that Mr. Level Up found at 15 cents? Do we retest those early 2017 levels? Entirely possible. But I finally want to get this show on the road. We know that Bitcoin is just pushing where are we at right now. Excuse all my pretty colors. Bitcoin is pushing. We're at like 43,000. And I'll talk about the news in the next video, but I did want to finish up with this if I can find it. And guys, I'll show you Tether in the next video, Tesla, all of that. I wanted to share this gentleman's tweet. SBI Investments. When XRP pumps, use it as a money machine to diversify. That's what I'm going to be doing. Just like if you guys have read the book, Richest Man in Babylon, you get, one income source, of course, and then you start using that money. Instead of buying liabilities and nice things, you buy more assets. You buy more things and plant those seeds and water each investment until it's giving you that passive income or a huge return. You take that, and then you start doing another income stream. It can be a variety of digital assets. It can be tokenized real estate. It can be some business ventures. The sky's the limit. Maybe I'll even start stacking some more silver if I can get in time. Very exciting things. Just wanted to point that out. And this is the way I am seeing things. So try to hold off instant gratification. Reward yourself. Do whatever's best for you, honestly. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm more so just talking to myself because it's weird being in an office and talking to myself all day long about crypto. But I am beyond excited, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too dragged out because I get sick of hearing my own voice. But nonetheless, keep in mind, look at price history, when in doubt, zoom out, and keep listening to Jeremy Hogan, John Deaton, and Jesse Hines in this XRP community. Yes, I believe, XRP can easily go to $10 to $15. Yes, I believe 3 or 4 digits is possible as well. I just want to cross that bridge when we get to it. I still want to talk about it because we have to remind ourselves, and I know it kind of is Moonboy hypey-ish, but sometimes you need that to hold. And a lot of people, some people hate me. I get it, because you can blame other people for investments and decisions. And, I could do the same thing, but I'm just trying to be accountable. But nonetheless, I have gotten a lot of good feedback of people that just say, thank you, man. Like, because of you, of your videos, going over it, giving your opinion, showing research, showing fundamentals, I have held. And to be honest, guys, I would be nowhere without you. And I have the same response to you guys. Because of you, I have held. Because of you, I research every day. Because of you, I am so beyond excited for what we can do for this community and give back right now and give back in the future. So I just want to say massive thank you to anybody even still listening. I'm sure you guys already clicked a different video. Nonetheless, appreciate you. Leave a comment down below and I will catch you in the next one.